Good day to you, everybody. How's it going? How's it going? Today I've got a Moonman Mahjong M1000, not a Pelican M1000, a Moonman Mahjong M1000. Their numbering system's a little bit, I've got a little bit of light on the subject today, as in light from above here. Hopefully that works out okay. It's just it's got a bit gloomy here. A few storm clouds blown over just as I was sitting down. So there you go. Sorry, what was that? Shut up. Talk about the pen. Yeah. Sorry. So Moonman Mahjong M1000. So this is a wooden pen with chrome coloured, silver coloured accompaniments and like a pearl esque jewel in the top there, and chrome reflective back finial. This is a cartridge converter pen, so that's not a piston knob. Let's take a look at the cap band. So on here we have Moonman M1000 N, is that? Oh no, that's Moonman again. So it's just Moonman, I think. Yeah, it's just Moonman. You got a few little metal dimples here, which presumably hold the wooden shell onto the body inside, but it's actually arranged quite nicely. Quite like that. Wood feels nice. Obviously some sort of little lacquering job on there. It feels nice, feels wooden. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Clip is stiff but usable. And then you've got the sort of jewel whatnot at the top there, obviously not real pearl. Screw cap unscrews in one and a half. Then you've got metal section, sort of the metal chrome section, screw threads there. This has a Bock fine nib on it, two-tone fine nib. So when I was ordering this, I ordered this through AliExpress. I think the only option at the time was actually Bock nib, so that's fine. Came in at just over, so £41. That includes VAT and delivery from China, so not too bad. But yeah, you've got the two-tone Bock nib, which I think is a bit of an odd one, with the all-silver trim. You hear the thunder clouds in the background there. There's a storm a-brewing. So, whatever, but I'd probably have gone with the all-silver nib there myself. Number 6 size, fine nib, plastic feed. Bock, cartridge converter pen. Comes with converter included. Oh dear, it's a bit... And hopefully that gets me through a writing sample. You've got a little agitator ball in there, which I'll probably take out because they annoy me and I don't think they really serve much function at all. That's just me. Yeah, standard converter. Standard Chinese converter, I should say. There's no O-ring in there at the join, but I do find that it doesn't take loads of effort to unclasp it, as it were, but it doesn't come loose either in my experience to date. I tell you, I do like one little feature. So when you cap it, that clip always lines up with these little pips. I like that sort of thing. So it's a single start thread and it'll always line up there. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, that pleases me. I like that. Let us look at some measurements quickly. So here we have a Moonman Mahjong M1000. So you got your length capped and uncapped. Does not post, by the way. So just it won't even post. Not designed to post. Not the kind of it'll go on there but comes off thing. Does not post. Then weight. So capped, uncapped, and the cap on its own. Quite a weighty pen. So you got like the metal body inside the wood there. It's quite a weighty pen, substantial certainly. And so for the barrel, you've got kind of 14-ish up here, going down to 13-ish down here. My calipers still need a new battery, so that's what, hence the ish, and the section is around about 11-ish. Apologies. Speaking of oncoming storms, there was a brief child interruption there. Where was I? Section. Yeah, so just tapers down ever so slightly, but as I say, my calipers are a bit thingy at the minute, so you know. So the threads here are not the smoothest in the world. They're okay. They're not sharp, but I don't know if you can see kind of against my finger there. They do protrude quite a bit. So if you were gripping there or had your finger resting there, you do feel that does intrude on the writing experience slightly. If you're down here, you're okay. It's not like sharp again, like if you're just touching them, but if you're leaning into it, that is a little bit uncomfortable. Speaking of the section, it is a chrome finished metal section, so you know, if you don't like that, if you don't like the slippiness of such things, be aware that this might not be for you. I will say it doesn't usually bother me, a metal section, for slippiness, but this one is actually a little bit more slip. I don't know if it's in my mind, but it seems a bit more slippy than like your average chrome section. I don't know if it's coated in something. It's okay for me. I just have to be a little bit aware of it. But once I've gripped, I'm okay. It's not going anywhere, but it feels like it's got an extra coating or something there. And obviously it's a fingerprint magnet, so you know, something to be aware of. Yeah, as is the back kind of faux piston knob there. So fingerprint magnet, something to be aware of as well. Shall we look at a comparison with some other pens? Okay, then we shall. Here we have some other pens. So I've got a Wingsung 630 for that kind of Montblanc 149, Jinhao X159 size, Pilot Custom 823, which is there or thereabouts for like a 146 kind of size, TWSBI Diamond 580 Diplomat Excellence, and a Lamy Studio, kind of your more standard sizes. And then this way you've got an Asfine P80, an Asfine P30, and an Asfine P50, to keep track of all my serial numbers and stuff these days. So you're looking at ish a Montblanc 149 size, there or thereabouts. Just while I've got these two here, this is kind of what I would like in this, because I do like this pen, the Asfine P80, but I'm not massively wild on the skeleton. It's okay, but I mean, I'd prefer like a solid finish. I think I said that in my review. So if like this, not necessarily wood, but you know, that you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so you got that 149-ish size, but obviously weightier, smaller nib, because that carries a number 8 size nib. So this may be like an homage or whatever to a Montblanc special edition. I know they do like the James Purdy and Sons wooden special edition. That's got obviously a lot more patterning in it and is a lot finer work, and etc, 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 etc. So I don't know if it's loosely modelled on that, but plainer, but there you go. Yep. Writing sample, shall we? As you saw, there wasn't massive amounts of ink in here, so hopefully that'll get us through this writing sample. Let me just zoom this in a little bit. So we have a... Here we go. Moonman, quite clearly branded Moonman, but obviously sold as Marjan M1000. Quite sinister doing this with the thunder in the background. I feel like I'm in a dark and stormy night. I'm not. It's Sunday afternoon. Ink is Diamine Majestic Blue. Right, so I'm going to preface this with I've wetted this nib, but I'll show you what it looked like beforehand. I'll show you like the first writing I did with it, but bear with me. That was me there, just lifting a little bit. You saw a couple of hard starts here, but it has been in a drawer for a few weeks because I have had no time to do any recording, because as you may have noticed, I am invaded by kids all the time. Not any kids, they are mine, but they're beginning to grate on me a little bit now, if I'm honest with you. Anyway, so once it's going, it's fine. I don't find it usually hard starts, but obviously that goes to kind of cap sealing, I suppose. But once it's up and running, you're fine. Just do it quickly. Tiny little skip there, but I think I angled the nib, to be fair, but you know, generally speaking, I find this nib performs really well now. I'll talk about how it was new in a second, because it was decent new, but not to my preference, shall we say. For wetness now, that's decent. It was dry when I got it, and I'll show you that in a sec. For line variation, tiny weeny bit you can get. I say it's a fine. It is a fine, or it was advertised as a fine. It's closer to a medium, I'd say. You can squeeze out a little bit there, but obviously it's just a standard box steel nib. Right, let me find what it did look like. Which I have here. So this was when I got it and first inked it up. So as you can see, very dry, especially on the upstrokes. It almost didn't give you anything. So like downstrokes, you're okay. It kind of opened up a little bit, and you know, here I have done the Inquiring Minds 7 strokes to inky happiness technique, which aided a bit, as you can see coming down here. So it performed okay on downstrokes, bad on the upstrokes. It just gave you nothing as you gave an upstroke. I've got medium here. Maybe it is a medium. Anyway, yeah, and then, but it was still, so even after doing that, it was still very dry on the upstrokes. It was better, but dry on the upstrokes. Tried again. Yeah, so here I've got smooth, but times too tight, etc., etc. So I've tried that. So what I actually eventually did was I pulled the nib and feed out and gave the tines a brass shim and just tried to spread the tines a little bit, which for once actually managed quite well. And now it writes very nicely to my desired wetness. Out of the box, it was still very smooth. So it was a really smooth nib, but just too dry, far too dry, certainly for me. And I would argue for anyone, because you hardly got any ink on the paper on the upstroke, so it was just tuned too tight. However, it was very smooth, and for once I actually managed to wetten it up without misaligning the tines and needing to retune it, and it's still very smooth, and now it writes very nicely for my preferences. So I really like the weight and the balance of this pen. It sits nicely in the hand. Usually a metal section wouldn't bother me, but I do find the touch of this, it just feels like there's an extra coating or something on there. I don't know if that's in my head or not, but something to be aware of. It's okay, once I get used to it, it's fine. These threads, little bit pronounced, so therefore if you grip into that, if you have any sort, if you pressure grip into that, which I was doing when it was really dry, hence noticing it quite a bit, you will feel that, and that is uncomfortable. If you're down here and you're just touching it, you're okay, but if you're putting any pressure into those threads, you might find that uncomfortable. All round, I really like this, actually. It's a very nicely weighted and balanced pen for me. It's on the weighty side, so it might not be for you, but there you go. Nib was a bit dry, quite a bit dry. Tune that, that's okay. But yeah, I'd seen these before, and I was umming and ahhing over them a little bit. And I actually saw a review, I'll link down below, because he does far better reviews than I do. Vincenzo from Fountain Pen Therapy. I saw him do a review of this, and watching that actually made me buy one, because it's been on my, I've got an AliExpress bookmark list, which sometimes I buy and sometimes I decide not to buy. It's been on there for ages, and I pulled the trigger, and I'm happy I did. It's like, just the wood quality is nice. Comes in 3 different wood finishes. This one is walnut, I think. Then you can get olive wood and mahogany or something else, I don't know. But yeah, it's a nicely balanced, and now that nib's tuned, I really, really like this pen. So thank you to Vincenzo for doing the review and pointing out a few bits that made me pull the trigger on that. I'll link down to that down below, so you can give that a watch. It's better than mine. But yeah, good solid pen. Decent for the price, I think. Just be aware of that nib section and threads. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.